How's it going, everyone? Session here. Welcome back to Who the F Did I Marry? We are back now, starting with part two to kind of semi recap from part one. Basically, she's talking about how she had met her husband at the time, and he is one out of five siblings and had like a half sibling. Both parents have passed away, sort of thing. He played arena football, and he was willing to take her out to Cheesecake Factory, which is her favorite restaurant, and that was her first date. They met March 4th, 2020, and 3 days later, they're going on this first date. And while she was on the way to the date, I guess she shared her location with him, and he went to go see her while her car or tire had blown out, and then they basically went to go replace the tire, and then he paid for the tire and then replaced it, and then they're both on their way back to Cheesecake Factory. Okay, so here is part two.
All right, who the fuck did I marry? Part two. So we both put on the table what it is that we wanted. We both had established we were dating for marriage. We were not dating just to date. We were not trying to be friends with benefits and none of that.
Okay, respectful.
So the dinner at Cheesecake Factory went really well. We laughed, we joked, we talked about people, which um, is kind of up my alley, my sense of humor. It was a good vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the date, or excuse me, at the end of dinner, we sat in his car and he played this song for me by John Legend. I don't know the name of the song. By the time this video posts, I will put the name at the bottom. I can't
Okay.
remember the song. I just remember that John Legend was talking about, I think I met my wife tonight.
Okay.
And I thought it was a sign. So I was like, oh my God. So anyway, we ended up sitting in the car talking
I don't know what
just
song it is
about
though.
life and
It's
experiences
okay though.
until about midnight. So during this conversation,
Dang.
he again is telling me how it was, what it was like living in California, how
Mm-hmm.
he went out there, he went to San Diego State, he played football for San Diego State. He talked about how, you know, he loved it out there, so he stayed. That's when he joined the company.
How old can you be to play? Right, because like wasn't he 42 at the time and played arena football? Isn't that like a little on the older side? Okay.
Um, and then he explained that he also did
San Diego State
arena
though.
football, but only did it for about 2 or 3 years. He claims that while he was doing arena football, the team that he was on won a championship. But again, keep in mind, I don't know anything about arena football.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, I didn't know that they had championships. And he was like, he got a little offended, like, yeah, they got championships. And, he was on that team.
Okay.
So
So would
he
you get
talked
offended
to
by
me
it? But okay.
about how he worked at Apple. He
Mm-hmm.
worked something in the IT area of Apple, but it within the store. Again, it was one of those. It's like when I
Like a
tell people
Genius
I used to
Bar
work
kind of
at
thing?
Amazon. I really wasn't paying much attention to it. Wow.
Okay. I mean, I
So
guess.
we talked about all that. We talked deeply into what happened with the ex-wife. It's because I asked. He was not volunteering all this information. So in other
Mm,
words, I get very uncomfortable when men start talking about their ex a lot.
that's fair.
That's not what happened. I was asking questions because I was really trying to figure out, okay, are you ready for a relationship, or are you still um, missing her?
Oh,
So
okay.
we talked about that. We talked about my exes.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mistake I made because I talked about how I dated at one point in time somebody I worked with. That will come back later.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and
Okay.
he seemed real cool about it. He was like, that was before me and blah, blah, blah. So the conversation was good. Midnight comes and I go home. Yes, I went home.
Oh.
We ended up
Ah.
talking, and talking. Mind you, our first date was March 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And within about 2.5 weeks, Brian Kemp, our governor, shut Georgia down. We were going to be
Oh
on
yeah, because the
lockdown.
COVID thingy. Okay.
So during those 2.5 weeks, we talked every day. We went out again at Red Lobster. Um, I remember Red Lobster.
Good choice. Good
But
choice.
everything was going great.
Okay.
The issue was, where are we going to quarantine? So the question was, are we going to
Hmm.
quarantine at his place,
Mm-hmm.
which he had like a studio type of situation. Like it clearly where he was staying, I was like,
Huh.
it's like a studio apartment, but
He wanted a
he
house
kept
though.
telling me like this is temporary because I'm looking for a house. Like he showed me he showed me the email from a woman who worked at the company where she was out on maternity leave, but she was putting him in contact
Mm-hmm.
with a realtor to help him find a townhome or a single family house. So I was just like, okay, this is definitely temporary. Like he's not trying to
Yeah, because he
stay
had
here
just moved
long term.
from San Diego, so yeah.
And she was apologizing in the email. I'm so sorry, this should have been taken care of before you got here, but it wasn't. Da 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 da. I saw the email. I
Uh-huh.
saw the email. I read it. I read the email.
It'd be
Um,
crazy if the email is fake, by the way. I'm just letting you know. It'd be so wild if he composed that email to send to himself, kind of thing.
so the decision was, we're going to quarantine at the studio or we're going to quarantine in my house? First mistake I made. Well, there's a lot, but this was a mistake I made. So, ladies, caution moment. During one of our dates,
Mm-hmm.
because keep in mind, in those 2 weeks, we were seeing each other quite a bit. Nothing physical or anything like that. Just two
That's
people
respectful.
who I thought were really on some. All right, let's see if this is going to grow into something.
Mm-hmm.
He came to my house. When he came to my house, I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome.
Damn.
He was in a studio. Now, I'm telling you guys all of this in order of how it happened. So some things I'm probably going to insert what I was thinking and the mistake I made.
Okay.
Turn this off. No. Okay, still need that. And I say that to say that I did not realize inviting him to my home um, probably made his eyes go, oh shit, she's a keeper. She got this 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in like a little studio. Yeah, let me go ahead and pursue this. What I need to do to quarantine here.
Mm-hmm.
The decision was made, quarantine at my house.
Okay.
So the state went on lockdown. He came and stayed with me in my home, and for the most part, in the initial beginning, it was fine. It was fine. The reason why I hesitate is because I grew up in the church. So for
Okay.
me, it was really like an internal struggle of, bruh, you always said you would never live with a guy unless he was your husband. And now you
Okay.
living with a dude and he ain't your husband. Like it was a
That
struggle for me
happened. That happens
because I
though.
knew better.
Yeah,
And
I get that.
don't come for me. I'm just telling you the way I grew up. It was like that. It was not sitting right with me. But at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to quarantine by myself.
No, I get that. I mean, the thing also too is like I think that guys who usually end up wanting to stay at the girlfriend's house sort of thing is also because I mean, we're very simple creatures, right? I would pack a very small bag or just bring like sweatpants or something just to kind of get comfortable at like a person's house. So, not that like, I don't know, if a woman went to the if she went to his house, she might have to pack like a larger bag just to kind of bring more stuff and whatnot too by comparison. So, I think it's usually the case scenario that guys go to the girl's house just because it makes their lives a little easier. Um, with like a lot of because we're you know all the other memes and TikToks where people do if I brought like a jacket and pants and then if I was warm I'd just like roll the sleeves back a little bit kind of thing. So I feel like him making that move to go to her place also because her place was much larger by comparison to you know it just like logically made sense. I feel like she wouldn't also be comfortable going from her house to like a studio because the size would be so much smaller. I mean, I feel like she would compromise for it though, but like house studio, right? There's a really big difference in that
I
size.
did not want to. So there we go. So he moved in. We talked about the bills. Let me clear something up that I
Oh,
said in the other
what?
video where I said
Wait, he like stayed over? Okay.
paid all the bills. He paid all the household bills. He did not pay my car payment, my cell phone, or my car insurance.
Okay.
He paid the rent because my rent at the time was less than $1,000.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, what? I mean, like, am I gonna have to move to Georgia if rent is $1,000 for a 3 bedroom? That's crazy, actually.
he paid the utility bills, and so when he's telling me that he's a regional manager, I was like, wow, okay, so you got money. Um, and so he paid all the household bills. So my check really was just taking care of me, myself, and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not. This is where it's not gonna make me look good, but it's the truth. It was intoxicating to not have to worry financially about how to pay the bills. It was a wonderful feeling.
I get that.
And so
She's not at
I
fault for that
kind
though.
of pushed to the side the fact that, yeah, you shacking up, because it's like, but your page, you don't have to worry right now. Like, he's taking care of all of April's bills before April even comes, because this was still
That's kind of scary though, because like he's willing to. I mean, I guess like monetarily, he can cover the cost of his own studio and her place. I mean, if the price is equal enough, like if her rent is $1,000 for a 3 bedroom, his studio must be even cheaper, if anything. So I guess like it's okay. But I don't know. It's kind of scary for someone that you just met after what was it like a couple of weeks after a date and that what to like moving in quarantine together that you just like he just kind of moved in and covered the cost for everything. That's scary actually. I would not want that to be the case in my own personal
March. So
Yeah, because they haven't even gone into the month of April. He's already covering April's bill, like April bills. Like they've only been together for like a month, if anything, and he's already like moved in and covering the cost for the next month. Like this has all happened in the span of like less than 30 days.
we're living together, and I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, he's helping to cook and clean, and then we have a conversation about house. Is he still going to buy a house just for him, or is he going to buy a house where it's for us?
Mm.
Because we are going to try to make this thing work, be official, get married, have a family.
Mm-hmm.
So the question now on the table is, what are we going to do? Because I didn't want to stay in Riverdale, Georgia. I did not want to raise a family there. I refused to have a baby in Clayton County. So the decision was made. Let's start looking for a house for both of us.
Oh,
Remember, he was already looking for a house for him.
right.
But then he was like, you know what? We're together. I plan to marry you. Let's look for a family
After
home
one date, I
for the
mean,
two of us. He was like, this is
they
how
must have been
much I was
talking.
approved for. That's when he showed me the Chase paperwork. It was a letter stating that and it had the Chase emblem at the top. He showed me a letter stating that he was approved for 700.
Wait, what? Why did she have to mention that it had the Chase emblem? It'd be crazy if it's fabricated. That's what my concern is like he's got documentation of things and it almost seems as if like a lot of it is not true to a degree. Okay, we need to find out what happens in part 3. Just stay tuned. That's really it's scary to me that they decided to like move in together after like a month of dating. I don't know how it works. Like I'm from the upper east part of the country, so like usually it takes several months before you even like kind of claim like exclusivity, and it takes even several months even after that to even move in with the person, right? But like to get a house together is that's a bold and big step to take in a relationship. So for them to do that in a month, not even, is like I'm worried that the plot will thicken even further. So tune in next time. We check out part 3. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.